So I don't think I'm in the camera here, but that's not important because you are. Thank you, Mark, for having me here. I've been chasing you and stalking you for probably 18 months now, and I've been to the first ClimbCon. I'm going to the second one this year. But yeah, you've got a really interesting story. I really appreciate you having me here. Thanks for taking the time out. But can you tell people the background of how, I don't know, from boy to man, where you came from, obviously not this country, and then how you became involved with the online digital space, and now you've got a really successful company as well. This series is called the Back to Your Future Social Experiment, and what I'm doing is interviewing people. You've already got a head start on some of the people I'm interviewing, but I'm going to go each year now for the next 5 years and say, have you grown the company that you're in? Does Climb Online become something completely different away from the digital marketing, or what? So thank you for agreeing to this, and I'll be interested to see the growth because it's been phenomenal so far in the next 5 years. Can you give us a bit of backstory?
Well, firstly, it's good to be with you, and thank you for asking me to be on this. I love your approach in how you chased me to get this done. A lot of people ask me to give a podcast interview, and if I don't reply to the first one, and in my LinkedIn, if we went through that now, there's hundreds in there, and we couldn't go back to all of them if we had 2 lifetimes. You persisted and persisted and persisted, but not only did you persist, what is a great lesson for anyone is you gave first. You came to my event, you invested in my product and my brand, and you came to my event and then said, if I buy a ticket for the second one, will you do my podcast?
Yep.
That will always get a yes from me because you're investing with my company and with me and with my brand. So of course I would always do that. And it's a great lesson for anyone else. Everything I've got out of life, anything I've got out of business, it's always come from giving first, going to someone's event, making sure I bought someone a coffee into a meeting or whatever it might be. It's that first gesture of giving has always then got me a lot more back than I gave, and it's a great lesson for anyone watching this. So thank
you.
In terms of me, well, it's a crazy story. I was, as you can tell from my accent, not from England. I'm from Australia, a small town called Armidale in New South Wales, which is a small country town. My dad owns a garage called Cliff Wright Motors, which is my granddad's name, and my mum's a hairdresser. And they've run small businesses my whole life. My whole life I was sat at the dinner table and I'd hear them saying, the rent's due, or I need to fire this employee, or how much should I pay this person? This staff member turned up sick. This customer isn't paying their invoices. So I guess where people are sat with their kids and they're talking about, I don't know, their boss or their university degree, my inbound information was always about being a business owner. So I just wanted to grow up and be like my parents and run businesses. So that's all I ever wanted to be, other than a Socceroo football player. The only other thing I ever wanted to be was a businessman. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be successful as a businessman. And the only problem holding me back is I was terrible at school. I'm trying not to stay away from the cliche, he was bad at school and now look at all the things he did. I didn't apply myself. I'm not making any excuses about it. I didn't apply myself. There's something about school that didn't gel with me, whether it was them standing there and saying information that didn't work. But I finished school with no grades. I wasn't able to go to university, so that wasn't an option. But I wanted to run my own business and I became a personal trainer. I started running my own personal training business, and I had the fortune of training one of the most successful men in the country, a businessman. And I asked him how to be successful, and he said the people that are successful are in marketing and sales. So I was like, oh, shit. So I quit my personal training job and I went to work at the personal training college where I did my certificate. And it was at a bigger town in Brisbane. They have 3 million people. Armidale has a few thousand. And the bloke there had invented a system where you could upload any course, personal training course, and you could study anywhere online in Australia. And because Australia is such a vast country, it was an amazing thing. It was one of the first of its kind. But his sales were terrible. He was getting about $2,000 to $3,000 a month in sales. And I said, you need to be on the internet. You need to be getting this out there. How are you advertising?
What kind of year are we talking?
2006, 2007.
Wow.
And this is like Google AdWords has just started.
First iPhone came out 2007.
iPhone's out. Like we're on the precipice.
Wow.
And I said, how are you advertising? We're in the yellow pages. I was like, right, I don't think that's going to make it. We need to be on Google. He's like, I don't know anything about that. So I taught myself how to make a website, and I taught myself Google Ads and SEO. And we got to #1 for the word personal training course. We went from $2,000 in sales to $240,000 a month in sales in 3 months.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay, this is something. When I'd never had it in my life. I'd tried being a waiter. I'd tried working in a sports shop, personal training. I tried so many jobs and sectors, and nothing ever clicked. I kind of felt like I was working every day. I was forcing it. And I was like, this is the one. This is it. I'm good at it. It's going to be huge, and I'm enjoying this. So I was like, I need to go into this getting up Google stuff. So my industry selected me almost by accident. And so I did what everyone Australian does before they come and do their career. I went backpacking around the world. So I packed up a rucksack with jeans and all of that sort of stuff, and did a year's world ticket around the globe. And I ran out of money, came to the closest town which spoke English, which was London. Started working in a digital marketing company here. I was back living in a hostel.
Wow.
Working as a cold caller, selling Google ads, door to door and cold calling every day, till I had enough and wanted to start my own company. Took the business plan for Climb Online to 4 different banks, but because I'm from Australia, they wouldn't give me a loan to start the company. So I went on The Apprentice.
How long before The Apprentice were you taking this? Was it a year before or a couple of years before?
A year before.
Right.
A year before.
Wow.
And I wanted 25 grand. But because I'm not from the UK, I'm from Australia, they wouldn't even open an account for me, let alone give me a 25 grand loan. So now I've got banks lining up to give me money, but I don't need it now. When I needed it, no one would give me an opportunity because I had no track record. Yeah. Maybe rightly so, but Lord Sugar saw things differently. And I went on The Apprentice in Series 10. I won The Apprentice.
2015.
14.
14. I keep saying 15, but
I started the business in 2015.
Yes.
And that was life-changing. That was honestly a life-changing situation. We're sitting in one of the offices now, and it's you can't believe the size of the company. But that's a bit about me and how we got here and how I got into digital marketing. But if we started your program here, this 5-year Back to the Future podcast 5 years ago, would have we seen some shit in the last 5 years? I've become a totally different person in the last 5 years. My knowledge has become 100x where it was. My demeanor's changed. My knowledge has changed. I thought I knew a lot about business 5 years ago. Christ, I knew nothing. Imagine what I'll know in another 5 years.
But what you are saying is that there's not going to be any shit in the next 5 years, basically.
It's going to be horrendous.
Different challenges.
It's going to be horrendous.
The way that your growth is going.
Yeah, if you're not ready for challenges and tough days, and 9 out of 10 days being an entrepreneur are bad. 9 out of 10. But that one day is better than everyone else's 10 average days. So I'm in the game for that one day.
Yeah. That's a really interesting backstory. I think you kind of touched on already question 1, but did you know before starting in digital marketing that this was, or was it the guy that said, you need to go in sales or marketing? Did you know, was this the market that you'd already knew that you were going to get into? Had you tried other ventures, or this was it?
I thought I would end up being a car salesman or an estate agent, because I had various skill sets. My skill sets are negotiating and sales. So I thought I would end up in that area, and this industry picked me. It was done poorly before. It was done very clunky before, and I felt that I could do it better than everyone else, and I felt I was good at it. I understood it. Sales was a helpful skill to have. So I came in with it picked me.
Wow.
And I don't know how to say this other than, like when you find the right girlfriend or boyfriend or partner in life, when you find the right business, the right job, you get a certain feeling.
This
like,
feels right.
This feels good. And like I was saying to you before when we're setting up, I don't take many holidays in that, but it's because I don't feel like I'm working. And I've never, for every other job I had until this one, it felt horrendous. I hated it. And now I don't. So, I don't know. Strange answer, but a truthful one.
Yeah, that's a brilliant answer in my mind. So question number 2 then is someone that's got a traditional bricks and mortar business, but they're just, that could be that they've had that 5, 10, 20, 50 years, but would you say that they definitely 100% need a digital presence, an online presence? And what tips, if they're just starting out, what tips would you give a business that needs an online presence?
Well, firstly, it doesn't matter what your business is, whether you're a masseuse in the high street with one shop, or you're a chain of hairdressers, or you have a physical product or a B2B business in a high-rise building, you need a digital presence. There is no business I've ever seen or any entrepreneur I've ever met that doesn't need a digital presence. That's not to say people don't have them. Up until 2 years ago, 60% of businesses in this country didn't have a website.
Wow.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. My first tip is exactly that. It would be for any business, small, medium or large, to invest more in their website. Your website is your brochure about your business.
Right.
And if you think people aren't checking that before they're coming to you, you've got rocks in your head. Investing in a nice looking website will sell you more of yourself than you could do with anything else. And start with social media now. Small businesses are not placing enough importance of where social media video is going in the future. And just having an account, 1 to 3 accounts, and posting something on there is better than not having it. And that would be my biggest tips is, I sit with people at whether it's dinner parties or down the pub or meet friends through friends, and they say, I don't need a website and all that. We're family-run business. We've been going 45 years. Well, if you want to run another 45, you need to start doing this stuff now. We're seeing the likes of all these old high street retailers like House of Fraser, all of these great old businesses go down the pan at the moment. Why are all of a sudden these 100-year-old businesses going down the pan? It's because we've always done it this way. It stopped working.
Yeah. They've lost touch with the modern, world of marketing.
As soon as you lose touch with the modern world of marketing, you start sliding backwards. And there's new things. There's new challenger banks. There's new challenger supermarkets. There's new challenger clothing companies that are killing these old businesses because people won't always buy from you because they've always bought from you.
No, exactly.
And that's the biggest mistake that people can make.
That is incredible. Yeah. Question number 3, a fun one. What's the most annoying trait of you that your team, if we had them in here now, what's really annoying about Mark? What would they say?
Long list.
Really?
They will give you a long list. As I said to them yesterday, I'm not your friend. I'm here to be successful. I'm here to make sure everyone I meet and touch becomes successful. My goal for myself is for everyone I meet and to come into contact with to teach them something and for them to become more successful from meeting me. That's my purpose, even from meeting you and doing this interview. I want to help you with something and make sure that you're more successful, that your podcast's more successful.
Awesome.
My bad traits is I'm a perfectionist. Everything I do has to be perfect, which is not always possible. And when I say that to the staff, it's the little things, the time they turn up, how they present themselves, how they present their workspace, how they present their work, how they follow up, how everything... Success is in the details, and I'm a details person. But their frustration with me is my investigation into their details, and what they think is complete, I never do. And I'd say if you ask them why, what frustrates you about Mark, they'll say, well, yesterday he said that, the shoes I had on weren't the right shoes for the meeting that we're in, or the follow-up notes had a spelling mistake on the 16th line, or whatever it might be. It'll be something so small to them, that I've made a really big deal about, but it's in for them to make sure that when they leave my tutelage, and I hope everyone that works for me forever, but it's not always the case. I don't want people to leave and say, he was a nice bloke. I want people to say, respect me, and feel like, wow, that guy changed my life because
moved the needle on what they've learned.
Exactly. Yeah. The habits I've now got as an individual has made me go so far in my career. I don't want more friends. I want to help people. And they're two very different things, and that creates frustration.
And, you know, if they're learning and growing themselves, then everybody's in the same mindset. The team's going to grow together rather than people holding other ones back. So
well, this is
great ethos.
You can only go as fast as your slowest ship.
Yeah.
And we're only as good as our weakest person out here. So my job is to identify weakness and work at coaching that weakness out. And the reason a lot of businesses fail and a lot of entrepreneurs fail is they're uncomfortable having uncomfortable conversations. And the first thing you need to get really comfortable with is just telling people you're really bad at that. So you either need to learn to get better at it, or we put you on something else.
Yep.
And honestly, there's nothing so hurtful as the truth.
Right.
And some people, I'm telling them things, and you can tell they're like, and the world we live in today where you can't say anything because it offends everyone.
Got to be PC.
At school, everyone's got now a first for coming wherever in the race. And then they've gone to university and you don't have to get up till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you come to me and I say F words, I say swear words, I say you can't wear that, that's not appropriate, that's terrible, this needs improvement, let's work with you. They're like, wow, this is unbelievable. I've never been spoken to like this. And it's not to say it's bullying or inappropriate, but I'm trying to get the best out of this individual. And unfortunately, in the real world, and particularly in business, you don't get a prize if you're not first. So we're pushing people harder than ever.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, it creates some frustration. And I've unfortunately had more people unsuccessful from my mentoring than successful. And this is one of my biggest bugbears is some of my most successful mentees. Mike Bush is one of my guys that I've really worked with. He's so successful, become wealthy beyond belief, successful beyond belief. He owns some businesses with me now. He's one of the directors of Climb Online. Which he's done unbelievable. But for every one Mike Bush, there's 9 people that haven't made it. And that's because to become a Mike Bush, it's a tough road.
Yeah.
And to be here on this podcast with you as a Mark Wright, it's a lot harder to give up. It's a lot easier to give up.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to listen to the advice and to do the work. And so I've broken a lot more than I've got to the championship. But unfortunately, I think that's the road to success.
Yeah, absolutely.
99% don't make it, and I'm after that 1%.
It's a narrowing pyramid to the top, isn't it?
Yeah.
In any business, be that, you know, a multinational corporation or whether it's a one-man band, you know, if you bring people into that business, then you've all got to climb together. Otherwise, it's very lonely at the top. But, you know, there's very few successful people.
Is it. And I'm going through stuff like avocados at the supermarket, just looking for the good ones, because unfortunately, the plateau to survival now is so low that for people to survive is you've got to do the bare shit. I don't want those individuals. I'm looking for people who want to be the best.
Yeah.
And my only biggest regret so far is I want to find more people I can help make great.
Wow. Awesome. Love that. Not very PC, Mark, but, you know...
Well, listen, again, it's the truth.
Yeah.
And I could say to you, listen, let's be friends.
Yeah.
It's all about the journey. I don't believe that shit that I'm even saying out of my own mouth.
Hilarious. Okay, next question then. What do you think that your business, Climb Online, needs to do to evolve in the next 5 years? We're going to talk each year for the next 5 years. What do you think is going to change? Is it AI? Is it all of that kind of stuff that's going to evolve your business?
Wow. Well, the last 2 years have been insane in terms of development. The next 2 years is going to be, as you've rightly said, is AI, machine learning, that sort of. I do worry the world is changing so quick. Will I be able to run this business with bloody 3 staff in a couple of years? Who knows? For me, it's going to be a lot of content, a lot of focus on content, creation of content. We used to talk about blogs, we used to talk about infographics, we used to talk about quizzes. I haven't heard those three things since I just mentioned it then for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
All we're talking about now is video content.
Yeah.
Video content, having subtitles on videos, creating videos, how-tos. Everything is going to be done on video. We're seeing the rise of social media platforms like TikTok. YouTube is scaling at a rate that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It may eventually overtake search. People, and particularly young kids, want to learn and engage with video. So we're heading towards a world where my business is going to be more about, instead of managing ad accounts, more about the creation of what goes on the ad account.
Right.
So that's the biggest shift that I see coming quickly. And then once we create the asset, the offering, the advertising that goes onto the platform, and I think that creation is going to be all about video until we go into augmented reality and all of that sort of stuff. But we're going video onto the platform, and that platform management. At the moment, there's a lot of third-party tools and stuff managing those platforms.
Right.
You've got tools that plug into tools and people running the tools. We're going to see machine learning and automation take away definitely the third-party tools.
Right.
So it'll be us to the platform like Google. So there's going to be a lot of spin-off businesses that go out of the game. I'll give you an example. This is getting a bit technical for people who aren't in our space. Google have last week they've just launched a new update for the shopping feeds on Google, where businesses, you used to have to be a business with multiple products,
right,
and you had to get the best use out of it, use a third-party shopping feed tool that uploads all the products via separate feeds to Google. As of yesterday, you can now upload one product. You can be a business of one product or a person with just one product and do it yourself directly to Google.
Wow.
That has overnight killed every feed provider that is a third party to Google. They now don't have a business.
And those tools are defunct. They're not needed.
Those tools are gone. And so immediately I sent an email yesterday to my head of paid search, cancel all our tool providers, because I'm paying that on a lot of cases on behalf of our clients. It's costing me £60 to £70, in some times more, per client, per feed, whatever. I've just immediately saved that cost.
Yep.
Great, I save a cost, but someone's business has just gone down the pan yesterday. So it's about being ready for the future. And will the machines then be able to do what my human beings are doing in terms of the optimizations? I'd say probably yes. So it's finding different roles for people. It's making sure that we aren't one of the businesses that gets hit by one of the direct, upload it yourself changes. And that's why creating content, doing strategy, doing training, doing coaching, human to human stuff is so important.
It's interesting what you said about the growth of YouTube as well. And there's a story where somebody's kid said recently, YouTube is the telly though, isn't it? It is the TV.
I think it is. If you talk to a kid about TV, I'd be very surprised if they can go through the channels of traditional cable network TV. The internet for them and TV is one sort of intertwined thing. Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, they've stitched the market up. What happens next from there is so exciting. It's unbelievable. I think things like Sky, BBC and all this, it's kind of seen its day, because they're not going to produce the quality of TV and shows that are going to stand the test of time, that the budgets that Netflix can produce. They're going to become more news network and this sort of stuff. And we're already seeing they're changing the subscription stuff and the license fee. It's going to be a crazy time. The internet has been, we've seen in our life, the biggest developments, I think, in human history since
10 or 15 years.
TV, colour TV was a ridiculous invention, unbelievable. But then, since then, aliens must have come. How can we have invented, in the space of 50 years, the internet, telephones, when you're driving in your car next, I'm going off piste a little bit, but when you're driving in your car next, speaking on the phone on hands-free, just think about, you're in a car going 70 miles that way, someone's in their car going 70 miles somewhere else, and you're speaking clear as a bell in real time to someone. How is that possible? Like, we're living in the future right now.
And the amount of computers that are under the bonnet of those cars as well.
And you've got the GPS running,
doing everything,
radio and this, that, and the other. And I always think, if someone could come back from the 30s or 40s or 50s and sit in the car with you, and they'd say, "What the hell are you doing?" "Oh, I'm driving and I'm talking to Mike.
Texting. You can
I'm
text.
also texting, and WhatsApping. We're watching YouTube, but the GPS is doing this." They'd be like, "God damn, this is the future." But because it happens kind of like a bit gradually. We don't notice how significant the last period has been. But we're almost robots ourselves. If you watch people on the tube, they're constantly just like this.
Yeah.
And you don't, when you go to the pub and you're having a conversation, you know everything now. "Oh, when was the last time Arsenal won that thing?" 1988 or whatever. And it's like everything is so instant. We're like cyborgs now.
This is fascinating, Mark. We could go on forever on this.
Sorry,
absolutely fine. So you must have, you won The Apprentice. You must have learned so much from Sir Alan Sugar. Are there any kind of golden nuggets that you can share with us that he's taught or given you in business? Because he's a very successful man. So,
there's no doubt about his success is huge. To come from a council estate in Hackney to where he is now is incredible. I would say, as a leader, our job is to inspire the people we touch. The thing I've learned for him more than any other thing is his work ethic is sickening. It is sickening how hard he works. And I think was instilled from a young boy till now that you get up and you work hard until you go to bed, and he's still doing that now. And why that's been a great lesson, it sounds so obvious, but when you see it in real life, it rubs off on you. It's inspiring because you're next to him and you're seeing what it really takes to be successful. He has a toughness to him which is unbelievable. Very tough, very to the point, very matter of fact, but the work ethic is pretty admirable.
Wow. Incredible guy to hang out with, huh?
Yeah.
Another fun question. What do you do to switch off? Do you go on holiday? Well, you've already said that you don't go on holidays. Do you kind of run? Do you do exercise? Do you travel? What do you do?
Listen, of course, I go on holidays, but not as regularly as most. What do I do to switch off? It's never when you own a business and you're an entrepreneur, unfortunately, there's no switch that turns off. Any business owner will tell you you're laying in bed at night and you should be able to just be thinking about nothing or thinking about what you're going to have for dinner or what you're going to do on the weekend. You don't. You're thinking, "God, have we got enough money for that? What if that account doesn't come in? What if this doesn't work? What if that person doesn't come and work for us?" Your mind is always working on the what ifs scenarios, and you're always working to a certain extent. But for me, my biggest things to switch off is going back to Australia and spending time with my family.
Nice.
I love spending time in the gym. I'd love to spend more time in the gym, but again, time restricts me a little bit. Going for long runs, spending time in the spa or the sauna is just time where, it just releases that, just like almost like meditation, just time for yourself. Even to be with your own thoughts is nice. But, like I said, I don't feel like I'm working very much.
That's good. That's a good position to be in. So you've got a lot of clients. Is there anything that any of them do that really hacks you off? Or do you choose your clients based on the fit for your business, the fit for their business? Because in business, there's going to be some tensions, but you don't have to mention any names, but do any of your clients really piss you off?
Of course. Of course, some of our clients have over the time pissed us off, and I'm sure I've pissed them off and vice versa. The thing that pisses me off most, and it's not about my clients, it's about businesses that I go in and see, is how small they think. Going in and challenging them and saying, "You need to do this," and they say, "No, we're going to do it this way because we've always done it this way," coming back to this stuff. And
they'll get swallowed up.
They'll get swallowed. And what upsets me, the thing is, I want to help them so much. And the thing that pisses me off, and I love all my clients, and I really do, and I want to help them. I want to help people. And when I'm telling you, you need to do this, a lot of the times they mistake it as, oh, I'm running a business and I'm trying to sell you deals. Of course I have a business to run, but also I love this stuff. I'm an expert and I'm the best. And I can see almost like you're the Titanic and here's the iceberg, and all I want to do is turn the boat this way and make sure you're on the right thing. And when I can't get through to business owners, and business owners are the worst because some get very stuck in their way. And if a business owner has seen success somewhere on the path earlier, they don't listen very well. So getting them onto a new track when they've always done something and they've seen success in the past, it's really challenging.
And I guess if you're building a long-term relationship with them, you want to do business over a period of time. You're not going to just make a quick buck in the next 6 months. You're not going to sell them something that's going to make them fail or reduce their impact. So, yeah, it's a long-term thing, surely.
Exactly. But the problem we've got is a lot of digital marketing agencies outside of mine some are a bit dodgy. So you've had people who have been burnt in the past. So to a lot of the extent, I can understand some of the pessimism from the customers that is there. But at the same time, you need trust from people to get the most out of their campaigns. But look, I love 99% of the people I've worked with.
That's a good position to be in. Organic traffic, paid traffic, how important is organic over paid? Obviously, paid is probably way more targeted and effective, but you mentioned about SEO and your own or company websites that people really need to focus on them as well. So how would you position somebody's business in that organic space as well as the paid?
Okay.
Both equally important?
I need to break it into two different sections. Search, SEO and pay-per-click are equally important.
Okay.
And this is my opinion. To my mind, SEO and PPC on search are equally important. On social, organic was important. It is now died. Paid is the most important on social. People like Facebook have really flipped the algorithms against us, whereby you used to be able to put great content out and you'd get followers and likes and shares and comments. But now if you're not boosting it and paying to get it promoted more, it doesn't have the same reach that it used to. So if I was starting up a new business today, my approach would be having a good website and SEOing it really well for Google, because any SEO rankings you can get on Google are going to be helpful. Having a small amount of PPC budget, and on a social having a paid budget, not spending so much time doing organic posts. That would be my 2020 strategy.
Wow, interesting. Controversial maybe to a lot of marketers that are out there, but
I only go with what I'm seeing, and this is new. That but the results don't lie. The results don't lie.
Wow, that's incredible. Social media is obviously key. We mentioned that right at the start. I'm just reading the question now. I think we've covered it, but right. So it's key for most businesses, if not all. You said that it's key for all businesses, I think. Right. Okay. So traditional businesses, that bricks and mortar, can't get away with not using it, in your opinion?
You've got to have it. It is. Think of having social media now as like having a telephone. If you didn't have it when before the telephone existed and then they came out, I'm sure there was businesses like, we don't need a telephone. Our customers have always walked in the shop. And then everyone got one. They're like, oh, shit, we better get a telephone. This was the same as when the car came out. Everyone had a fucking horse and carriage. And then
don't need a car.
Yeah, and I've always had this horse and this carriage. I don't need a car. Then eventually everyone got cars. Trust me when I tell you, social media is like that. There's so many people that have held out. Oh, it's just for friends. It's just for looking at your ex-girlfriend. Whatever. You need social media. So just get it. And
so there aren't any business cases where you think it's not going to work for that business?
I can't think of any. Maybe if you're a hitman or something.
Yeah, good point.
If you want to stay off the radar. But if you want people to find your business and you want new customers, and people are going to shop you before they come in. So if you haven't got a social media account, you haven't got client testimonials, you haven't got reviews, they're probably going to pick your competitor who does.
Yep.
So I mean,
You won't be seen.
you've got to be seen.
You won't be seen.
And yeah, I can't think of anyone who doesn't need social
Unless
media.
it's an illegal business.
Unless
then,
you're running off unless you wanted to stay under the radar because you're a drug dealer or something, I guess then that's
good,
you shouldn't
good
have it.
point. Okay, so the next one is you've got currently 3 offices. We touched on this
Yes.
when I first arrived, and I thought, wow, this is going places: Manchester, Bristol, London. But controversially, you're closing the others to focus on hubs. So explain that then, because
This is a great
are you
topic.
going completely international, or are you going to focus on UK, or what's the model that you're looking to
We're looking to go
change to?
internationally.
Right.
So, and as I was saying to you, it's a positive that we're closing those offices to come into London. We made what I think a very intelligent decision. We expanded locally. When I say locally in the UK, we opened a Bristol office. We opened a very big office in Manchester. Both did tremendously well. Sales, staff, everything, particularly Manchester, the quality of employees we were getting up there was unbelievable, is unbelievable. But what we realised is, again, we spoke about AI, we spoke about technology. Zoom calls, Skype calls are now better than ever. You speak on a Zoom call, it's like being here. And we're finding a lot of customers don't want to meet face to face. Yesterday I was booked out. I had, I think, nearly 7 meetings. 5 of them were on Zoom. That's unbelievable.
And they don't have to be one-to-one. They can be different countries with 20 people,
Dallas,
50 people.
There, and it feels like they're in the room with us. And we noticed the amount of meetings we were sitting in person in the regional office was falling and falling and falling. Our rental overhead is going up and up and up. We're paying for rates, business rates. We're paying tax. We're paying all of this stuff. And we said, well, hang on a minute. The meetings are going down. The rents and rates are going up. What happens if we just bring all the staff to one hub and pay one big rent and rates and overhead, but save on the managers going out on transport and all of this stuff? We can manage and train better if everyone's under one roof. And we save on the rental overhead. So the costs go down, our customer base stays the same, so our profits go up. And guess what happened? That's exactly what happened. So our market research has concluded that the way to run a service-based business currently is by having one big hub per country. So we're going to look at having a London, New York, Sydney style model rather than a Manchester, Bristol, London, Milton Keynes, deal. Because the way that the transport system works is I can be in Milton Keynes in 30 minutes, have a meeting. But I'll probably do it on Zoom.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible. Okay, we are finished.
Is that
Thank
it?
you.
Wow,
Thank
amazing.
you so much. I could sit here and listen and talk for hours because it is a passion for me as well, and it's so interesting. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the expansion of your company, and the previous 5 years have been incredible. I'm really excited for the next 5 years for you more than anything, because I think you're going places even further than probably you can imagine now, probably. But really excited for that and looking forward to the 5 years ahead. But how can people reach you? What's the best way that people can find you online?
Well, I'm very easy reachable. If you just go to climb.online, that's all you need to do, and that will bring you to me. Or you just type in Mark Wright on any social media platform. Now, there's 2 Mark Wrights, which are very famous.
Yep.
I'm always the second. The other guy went on a very popular TV show called The Only Way is Essex. He comes up number 1. But if you just type in my name, Mark Wright, you'll see me normally number 1 or 2 on most social media platforms with a blue tick. It'll say Apprentice winner, Forbes 30, under 30. And that's basically it. But if you type in Climb Online or Mark Wright on any platform, you'll find me.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it. Thank you.